Hello, welcome back to my channel. So we have a brand spanking new couple, and that is Joynomi and Red. So Joynomi is a 29-year-old medical assistant, and she's been with her boyfriend Red for over 7 years now. So Red is a year older than his girlfriend Joynomi, and he's currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for first-degree robbery. So Joynomi is Navajo, and her family has a lot of traditional ways, and she has never really had much luck in the dating department. She kind of reminds me of Monique because she said all her hookups were one-night stands, and Monique said like she would spend the night with people and they'd be trying to kick her out by the next morning. And so she really hasn't hooked up with a partner before. And she's definitely a filter queen as well. Most of her pictures are from the chest up, and she's one of those girls that definitely know her angles. So Joynomi hasn't been the most confident, secure woman throughout the years. So a lot of guys she's talked to online because she's super shy in person. So years ago, Joynomi was on Facebook and she was talking to a few different guys at the time, and she's talking to this one guy and he's like, hey, I got a homie who's in jail, I think he'd be perfect for you. And this guy used to be locked up with Red. So he gave Red Joynomi's number. He ended up calling her. They ended up hitting it off. Then he called a few days after that, and then they just started talking all the time. And 7 years later, they're still together and going strong. So even though they've been together for over 7 years, they have yet to see each other in person. Red only knows what Joynomi looks like from the pictures that she sent him, and Red looks completely different compared to the picture they showed us in his intro, compared to the pictures they were showing on the show. He's definitely lost a lot of weight from his first initial mugshot picture, so I'm curious what he's going to look like when he does get out. But Red has not been able to see Joynomi in person because he's had his visiting restrictions taken away the whole 7 years they've been together. So this dude had to do something serious to have them taken away for that long. Like, he must have got caught trying to sneak something in or something like that, God knows what. But it had to be something pretty serious for him to have them taken away for that long, and he has not been able to get them back at all. And Joynomi even admitted that at times she'll go weeks without talking to Red because he'll be in the hole because he's constantly getting in trouble. So Joynomi is super anxious at the thought of Red being released soon because she doesn't know how to have a relationship with somebody in person. She only knows how to talk to people and date them online. So since she's only had one-night stands and she's not used to being romance, I have a feeling that she's going to be swayed and impressed very easily. But she's going to have to put her foot down somewhat when it comes to bringing a former inmate into her home in bed with her because she has a son. So here's the crazy part. After waiting years and years on her boyfriend Red, Joynomi was missing having physical intimacy with a man. So she was constantly flirting with different guys on Facebook. She said she loved the attention. Like, she didn't want to wake up to one good morning text. She wanted to have at least 10, 20 good morning texts. So she wanted her notifications to be popping off every morning all day long. And she loved that attention and was always wanting more. So one night, she decided to invite a guy over from Facebook. They ended up hooking up, and next thing you know, she got pregnant. And I'm wondering if this is really the only time she cheated on Red, because, you know, the luck of having to sleep with one person, have one night stand, and you getting pregnant, boom, like that. I wonder if there's some other instances where she was hooking up, but she had to, you know, admit to this one because she had explained where the son came from. Here's another crazy part though. Instead of telling the guy that she was pregnant with his son, she didn't tell the guy she was pregnant at all, and he still does not know to this day that he has a son out there or that she was pregnant at all. Shoot, he still might not know at all. Like, he might be sitting down with his popcorn on a Friday night watching Felon Friday like we all do, and then he may be watching and be like, wait a minute, that girl looks familiar. I think I recognize that girl from Facebook. And then he's going to be shocked when he sees the son who probably looks halfway like him. And I kind of feel like I don't understand the purpose of her not telling him, because I feel like, you know, at least you could try to get some child support. You could try to get on some some state benefits that way. But she just didn't tell him at all. And I know, you're trying to protect your son, as she thinks that he's not going to be an active role in her son's life, maybe not telling him at all. But I would just not tell the son he has a father at all. But what she did is she told her son, oh yeah, your daddy is Red, even though her and Red have yet to even meet each other in person. So this little boy is going to grow up thinking this guy is his father. And she ended up having to break the news to Red, like, look, I got pregnant with somebody else. And he was not happy about it at all, but there's nothing he could do about it from prison. But he said once he gets out, they're going to have to sit down and talk about it and figure things out from there. And it just sounds like a lot of pressure to put on Red. Like, it doesn't sound like Red has any kids of his own. And to go from not being a dad at all and spending 10 years in prison to coming out and jumping right into being a father to this little boy. But I hope he's at least able to do that for the sake of this boy. Or if he's not ready for that, I hope he keeps it a buck with Joynomi, so her and her son can go ahead and move on and pray that her son is still young enough to hopefully forget about who he is. But she has her son believing that Red is the actual dad. And he's too young to put two and two together, like, oh, he can't be my dad, because she's never met him in person. But I just don't think that's a good idea to have him call Red dad until he could physically prove in person that he's daddy material and a good role model for her son outside of prison, and that he's in it for the long haul. Because so many people think, oh, he's in it for the long haul because he's been sticking around the past 7 years. But that man don't have nowhere to go. He's in prison, so he don't got nothing but time to waste. And the man needs money on his books, because most people aren't going to stick around for 7 years for somebody who's in prison. So she even admitted, yes, I've sent him over $40,000 in the 7 years that she's known him. And that's a lot of money. But it's even a lot of money when you look at her living situation, because she's a struggling single mom. She doesn't get no support from the father because he don't know that he has a son. And she's living in a trailer park and struggling. Meanwhile, he's living like a boss up in prison. And so she invited her friends and family over, and they're kind of trying to warn her. They weren't really pressing her as much as I would like to have seen them do. But she was sitting there and just telling them, oh, it's going to be great. It's all going to be rainbows and unicorns when he gets out. She's living in a complete fantasy land. She reminds me of like how I was as a teenager. Like the first few guys I dated, I thought I was going to be with them forever and we were going to get married and have babies. And I think that's just due to her being naive, due to her lack of dating experience. But she even went and pawned her family's heirloom jewelry, which is worth a lot of money. And this is stuff that she got from her grandmother. And she decided to go pawn all this stuff for $500. And pawn shops, they're cheap. They don't like to pay nothing. So if they are paying her $500, then I'm sure it's probably worth at least like $5,000, the stuff that she was giving him, at least. And I can't remember who was there with her at the pawn shop. I want to say it's her mother, but I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But they were there the whole time warning her. They're like, are you sure you want to do this? And she's like, yeah, I have no other choice. She said she needed money to be able to make it to Red for whenever he gets out of. I can't. It's already the first episode, and this girl is already pawning her family heirlooms and jewelry that her grandmother gave her so she can go pick up this man from prison that she's never met to move in with her and her son. And her son, she was trying to warn him. She's like, there's going to be another guy in here. And, her son sleeps in bed with her every single night. So it's going to be a big adjustment because he's going to have to start sleeping in his own room. And he's going to have to get used to having a father figure. And I really hope this man can at least try to be a good father figure and role model in his life. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Check out my lashes and lash products at AccordingtoAmber.com. Here's a few different people wearing my lashes. These are my H26F lashes here. These are my H109 lashes here. And these are my best-selling H12 lashes here. And I also sell lip gloss and other cosmetics. So if you're interested, check that out at AccordingtoAmber.com. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.